What's going on, guys? Adam here again of AtoZbodyfitness, and today we're going to go over how you can lose an extra 50 pounds. So just before we actually get into it, there's a few things I just want you guys to remember. The first thing is, on average, it's going to take you around 0.5 to 2 pounds a week to drop, okay? And that's, again, there's many factors when it comes to that. There's, how well and efficient your body is at burning calories, if you've worked out before, what your strength training regimen is, how much you're outputting, the most important thing, obviously, what your total calorie deficit is if you're trying to lose weight, what your TDEE is, your total daily energy expenditure, okay? These things all matter. But the first thing that I want you to understand is, if you're not seeing the results that you think you should be getting, then maybe you just need to revise what results you think you should be getting, right? Now, play that again a few times. And what I mean by that is, you're not always going to get the results that you think you're going to get. That's the reason why I gave you a range of 0.5 to 2 pounds, because it could be anywhere between there. But hey, sometimes you might even seem like you're flatlining. It doesn't mean you're not losing weight. Your body's just going through its rhythm of losing weight, and basically its body proportion and the energy it's expending in order for it to lose the weight that it needs to lose, right? Now in the beginning, you should be seeing a bit more weight loss, and that's an average to go by. But just keep at it. The results will come. Don't freak out if you're not losing as much weight as you think you're losing. As long as you're losing within that range, then you should be okay. And again, make sure that you get a lot of movement throughout the day. If you're somebody who doesn't get a lot of movement throughout the day because of what you do or your job, just your lifestyle, you're not used to it, if you can, I would start to do that. If you can't, like I said, just because of what your job is and what you do, then I would implement cardio, which we're going to get into in just a little bit. Okay, so the first thing is, you have to be in a deficit, okay? You cannot lose weight if you're not in a deficit. It's just not going to happen. You can do all of the amount of working out you want. You can do all of the, strength exercises, HIIT workouts, all the different stuff that you want, and you're not going to lose weight if you're not in a deficit. That's the first and foremost. Exercise is the extra on top of that will help with giving you a lot of other, obviously, health benefits, strong bones, fighting osteoporosis, strengthening your muscles. It comes with a lot of different benefits, way more than what I just listed. Even helping with weight loss as well. But you won't lose the weight unless you're in a deficit. So you need to be in a deficit. And a few ways that you can do that is to have low calorie dense foods. Now, when I work with my clients, I give them a host of low calorie dense foods that they can eat. I have over 100 different choices. I've been building this list for a long time. I've been a trainer for quite a long time. And he gives them a variety of things that they can have. But just going even off the basics of it, healthier food to a degree will be that way. Things such as vegetables and certain carbs will have low calories. They're low calorie dense foods, right? Meaning that you can generally eat more of them and you will still be able to break them down faster in the body, and they will have less calories for the amount that you're eating. But that's not always the case too, because then there are some healthy foods that are healthy. They are higher in calories for the amount that you're eating, and it can creep up on you in regards to the amount of calories that you're intaking, even though they are healthy. But sticking to it, you want to have low calorie dense foods, and you can get creative with this too. If you just go to the grocery store and you go through all the lanes and you see all the low calorie dense foods that are there, you can start coming up with different types of meals to put together. I've come up with so many, like I was saying not too long ago, that I've put together for my clients, which keeps it interesting. They still taste good, and there aren't too many preservatives in there for you. Now, if you're somebody who's worried about the preservatives and want to stay away essentially from certain foods, there's plenty of choices out there where you can go look and find certain foods to basically have, or even have in combination with other foods that have lower preservatives as well. But you just have to go out there, you have to look, and you have to take some time to go through the aisles of the grocery store and to see what you can find, but they're there. The other thing is, how do you know that you're in a lower calorie deficit? Well, you got to look at the foods that you're eating right now. You got to look at how many times you're eating a day, calculate the foods, or roughly the amount of calories you're eating within those foods that you're eating throughout the day. And if you're somebody whose food arrangement is all over the place, you don't really have a structure you eat or whatever, then you still need to calculate roughly how many calories you're eating. Go throughout the last week that you've eaten, If you can't remember that, then just start planning out your entire week from this point on and look at how many calories you're roughly eating, okay? And then from there, you can see how many calories you're eating, and then you want to drop back by 200 to 300 calories. You can do more if you like, and you'll drop the weight even further, but you have to be careful when you do that, because when you drop the calories to a higher degree, you're going to kick in a hormone and other hormones like it called ghrelin, which is going to make you hungry, you're going to get irritated easier, you're going to just want to snack on foods, and you'll probably just relapse and eat a bunch of calories all at one shot to basically feed that hunger hormone, because you are hungry because of the amount of calories that you have dropped in a quick time frame. So what I would suggest, it's a patience game. You're here for the long run. Drop the calories by 200 to 300 calories and eat foods that are more satiating, okay, which means that they fill you up and make you feel full faster, and that are lower calorie dense foods. So generally they break down in the body a bit faster. You can have more of them because they typically are low calories, and you will still manage to keep the weight off and keep losing the weight week after week, and you will not get irritated. Your hormones won't be out of whack. You will still feel like your regular self, and you won't be taking out your anger on your kids or your husband or your wife. Now, the other thing you have to realize is there's going to come a point where you are going to feel like your weight loss is slowing down, or that you're not really getting any weight loss anymore. You're not getting, kind of like how I mentioned earlier, you're not getting the same results that you would have been in the beginning. And that's normal, because eventually that's going to start to happen. Because when you drop your calories to a certain degree and you start to lose weight, as the days and weeks pass by, your body will start to even out, because you will start to hit that roughly that calorie maintenance point, on where you're not going to keep losing the same amount of weight that you've lost before, because you're essentially eating around the same amount of calories that you would be roughly releasing and burning off. So it means that you're not going to be breaking down body fat and losing weight as fast as you were before. But that's okay, because you want to get to a certain point on where you're comfortable, and you want to rely on strength training and also doing cardio at the same time. Now, getting into that, strength training is very important. Don't stay away from lifting weights. You want to lift heavier weights too, because number one, you build strength. Number two, you're going to build more muscle as well. And the more muscle you build over time, the more your body is going to become better at breaking down body fat. Now, this does take a bit of time. Don't let anybody tell you that you can start getting the effects of this right away. You can start slowly, progressively seeing results every 2 to 4 months or so, because that's roughly how long it takes in a trajectory type of fashion, where you're going to gain roughly half a pound to a pound of muscle. And every pound or so will require you to take an extra 50 to 100 calories. Around there, it's not the same for everybody, it's just a general number. Around 50 calories to 100 calories to sustain the muscle that you've put on. And again, it could be 2, 3, 4, 5 months. It really depends on the person, on their workout regimen, how hard they push themselves, how long they've been working out, their threshold, their power output. Like, there's a number of factors, right? So this is a general statement, but it gives you an idea of where to start from and what to look for at the same time. So roughly every 2 to 4 months or so is when you will roughly put on half a pound to a pound of muscle. So you can see how it actually takes a bit of time, and you need to stick with it and not give up. But when you do that and you continuously put on muscles through regular training and also strength training as well, your body again will put on muscle, and it will start to become better at burning calories, because it becomes more efficient because of the muscle it puts on and the strength output you keep putting towards the training. Now, the other thing that comes with that is constantly putting on progressive overload, right? Roughly around the same time frame, every 2 to 4 months or so, or depending on when you feel like you're able to increase the weight, or increase the time, or increase the amount of total session of time or duration for your workout, or even other things that you can implement to make your workout session harder. You want to create progressive overload, right? And this will keep challenging you, creating more strength, creating more speed. You will be able to push more weight. Your body, it'll allow you, again, it ties into what I was saying before, it'll allow you to be able to burn more calories, because your body becomes just more efficient at it the stronger it gets, which is why you need to keep challenging yourself roughly every 2 to 4 months or so. Or again, whenever you feel like you are, because you're the best judge for your own self and you know what you're doing, whenever you feel like you're able to push yourself a little bit more and increase the weight, increase the time, increase the allotted time for the total session, increase the amount of sets, increase the tempos, whatever the case is, There's multiple ways to do it. But you want to have progressive overload and keep adding that in every 2 to 4 months or so, because that'll, again, allow your body to become more efficient, stronger, better at also burning calories over time. And the more muscle tissue you pack on over the months and years, the more your body is going to use the calories that you take in to basically help break down body fat over time as well. Now, I don't want people to get the wrong idea here. It doesn't mean that you can go out when you start putting on muscle to eat like 1,000 calories here and eat a crap ton of calories over there. I myself have put on a lot of muscle over the last 15 years, and I'm able to get away to a degree with eating certain foods and higher amounts of calories. But I even have to still watch what I eat and the amount that I eat over time, right? I myself have a structured eating regimen during the week and on the weekend, but every now and then, I want to have something that I want to have, because like everybody else, I have pretty much a sweet tooth, or I want to have some sort of a junk food, and I just want to satisfy that craving. But at the end of the day, it's mainly got to be, and mostly has to be, on how you structure your eating and what you're putting in your body and how much of it, most importantly, okay? Because it doesn't matter who you are at the end of the day, you can't get away with eating too many calories over and over and over and expect not to gain weight. It doesn't matter if you're a muscular monster. It doesn't matter if you're somebody just starting out in the gym. It's the same for everybody. All right, cardio. Now, I know a lot of people are gonna say, well, I don't need to do cardio. I do weight training, I'm in a deficit. And you're right, you don't have to do cardio. But when it comes to me structuring it for my clients, not all of them, but I always add in typically some form of cardio for them if their plan calls for it, because aside from it actually helping for you to burn calories and being the best calorie burner because of the amount of movement that you would be doing through cardio, it's also good for your heart. It's also good for your cardiovascular system. And when your cardiovascular output is stronger, it will to some degree transfer over when it comes to weight training as well. Will it allow you to be able to push higher amounts of weight? No, because if you haven't trained for it or you don't have a lot of strength, it's not going to necessarily transfer over with that. But it will allow you to be able to do more repetitions if your plan calls for that. It will allow you to be able to last longer as well. And even just doing any form of cardio, like it could be anything from like ball slams to battle ropes to cycling to swimming to any sort of plyometric movement like squat hops or explosion squats or whatever. It's going to help you burn more calories, right? Now, the other side to that is people are generally, I get the question, well, what about if I do too much, then I'll burn off my muscle? And yes, that could happen, but your body is more resilient than you think, okay? So again, it depends on the person and what their plan calls for and what they're trying to get, but I do cardio almost every single day. I do 20 minutes on the bike. I do HIIT, sometimes even more. I've still maintained my physique. I have not lost the size that I have because it comes down to mainly the calories that you're eating and if you're getting the right amount of protein and you're substituting the protein in your daily diet for the cardio that you are doing. So it's not going to break down like you think it is. But however, if you're somebody who's just starting to weight train and you're a lot more thin and you want to put on size, I wouldn't do cardio just yet. You can do minor amounts of movements, maybe play some sports and whatnot. I would even kind of stave off from there. It's hard to tell. I'd have to look at your lifestyle, but I would focus a lot more and mainly on strength training and lifting weights and learning how to get a good mind to muscle connection. Just continue to lift the weights and focus on getting bigger and stronger. You have to become more structured. You can't just decide to go to the gym whenever you feel like it and do whatever you feel like when you're going to. You're never going to get the most optimal results like that. You need to say you're going to go Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, whatever works for your schedule. If you can go 2 days in a row, let's say you go Monday, Tuesday, take off Wednesday, go Thursday, Friday, take off Saturday, go Sunday. Or if you have to switch it up even bi-weekly because of whatever your work schedule permits, whatever works for you, you just need to make it structured because you need to get into the routine and habit of doing this on a daily basis. And if you're always going to start off the week by not knowing what you're going to do and not knowing what day you're going to do, you're going to fail because eventually you're going to come to a point where you haven't built in the structure of doing it on a daily repetition and going to the gym at the same time and basically doing the exercises that you need to do on those days, that you're just going to fall apart. It doesn't become second nature to you and you're just going to stop going. So it's important to basically pick the days that you're gonna go to the gym and go on those days. If you absolutely have to miss one of those days, then go the next day. But make sure you go and you do your best to go on those days, and you always get the same amount that you need to get in for that week. Same thing with your eating. Structure your eating as well as possible. Nothing bad ever came out of structuring your day, because you always, when you're disciplined and structured, you always hit your goals, right? The only way that doesn't happen is if you choose not to do it, or if you're not structured because you're not used to doing it at that time or at that day. That's the whole point of being structured and staying on point, to be able to do the things that you necessarily need to do in order to hit your goals. So make sure that you structure your week out, go on the days that you say you're going to go, and not only does it, again, get you closer to your goals, but you start to trust yourself more, because you start to realize that you can actually follow through with your own word, and it builds your self-confidence in that sense too, because you can see, hey, it's been 3 months, I've gone every day that I said I was going to go, I've been eating the food and the calories, and I've been structuring everything properly, I've been in a deficit, I can do this. I know before in the past I haven't been able to, but now I see that I can structure myself. It allows you to be more successful and puts you in a higher probability to become more successful when reaching your goals. How you structure your plan is up to you. There's many ways that can get you to your goal. It just depends on what you want to do. First, you have to understand what you want to attain for yourself, and then you start finding out what type of routine you want to put together in order for you to get there. So when I deal with my clients, I always ask them first, I'm like, okay, what do you want to do? How do you want your body to look? What areas do you want to strengthen? How do you want to look? How do you want to feel? And then from there, I build them out a plan, and then we go through the plan together, and I tell them, look, this is what is going to get you, and for the amount of time that you can allot to working out during the week, depending on what their schedule is like, this is the best way and best routine for you that's going to work for you at this time. Because there could be, two people with similar goals, but maybe one person can only afford to do twice a week, or some people can only actually do twice a week because they don't have the strength or the actual capacity to do more than that, because they just don't have the tolerance to do it yet, right? So that versus somebody who can go 5 a week, the plan is going to be built completely different, right? So I always go through those things with them, and then I build them a plan according to what they can handle, what they can do, and then based on their own goals and what they want to achieve. And then we go from there. And then every month to 2 months, it switches, right? Their caloric intake and the food that they eat is going to switch, and especially the workout plan is going to switch too, because I need to make sure that they're continuously escalating in the sense of they're creating progressive overload and they're continuously being challenged. So what does that look like for you? What do you want to do? What do you want to change about your body? Also, what areas do you want to strengthen? What are your energy levels at? All these things matter when it comes to putting your routine together and also building out a plan for yourself. And then the last thing is, you need to start consuming more positive content. Start surrounding yourself with content that's going to give you the proper guidance and skills that are necessary to you succeeding. So if you're somebody who wants to lose weight, and you're somebody who wants to get into better shape, but also just become more healthy, because the food choices that you're making have led you to be in an area that you're not happy with and drop the energy levels that you currently have to where they are. So you need to start consuming content that's going to allow you to do that. By going on YouTube, of course, obviously is a great source where you can go and find channels, you can go and find people that'll help give you information that's going to allow you to get there. If you're somebody who wants to purely just put on strength because you're 140 pounds or 130 pounds, you got no strength, you got no muscle, start consuming content and enveloping your mind in content that's going to allow you to get there, right? And if you're an individual, and this one actually pertains to anybody could basically get good content or good advice from going to these channels. But if you're somebody who struggles to put a plan together, or doesn't have good self-belief, or doesn't think that they can never do the things that they need to in order to get the results they want, and just has trouble starting, well, then you need to start. First and foremost, you need to start getting into content that actually helps to boost your self-esteem in that manner. And then the second thing is, you just need to go and do it. Because the more that you sit there and the more that you think that you can't do something, and the more that you keep putting yourself down about it because of how far you think the goal is from where you currently are, then you're never going to do it. It's the days and the years are going to pass by anyways. Whether you're 15, 16, 17, 20, 21, 22, 30, 31, 32, 40, whatever. It doesn't matter, whatever age you are. The time is going to pass. And before you know it, it's going to be a year later, 2 years later, 3 years later. And all that time of you thinking about you not being able to get to where you want to be because it's too hard or because you can't do it, the time would have gone by and you could have made significant progress. Would you have hit the goal that you wanted to have hit? Possibly. Or maybe not. But one thing is for sure, you would have been a lot farther along than where you were now had you stopped complaining about it and you actually got up and did something about it. It doesn't have to mean that you're going to get the results tomorrow. As a matter of fact, you probably won't get the results tomorrow. I doubt it, because when it comes to health and fitness, everything takes time. But unless you get up and you do it, it's not going to happen. Nobody's going to come and save you. It has to be you. You can go seek out help. You can go get advice. You can go talk to people, seek out the answers that you want, but unless you actually get up and do it, it will never happen. And then standing there or sitting there and wondering and just being upset or just being down in the dumps of you not getting the goals that you want is going to keep you there, and it never does anybody any good. All right, guys, if you like this video, click like, subscribe, comment, share. Let me know what you thought in the comments, and I'll see you guys in the next video.